Mae Clarke, born Violet Mary Klotz, August 16, 1910 – April 29, 1992, was an American actress. She is best remembered for playing Drive, Henry Frankenstein's bride Elizabeth Lavenza, who is chased by Boris Karloff in Frankenstein, and also for having a grapefruit smashed into her face by James Cagney in The Public Enemy. Both films were released in 1931. Early life. Mae Clarke was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her father was a theater organist. She studied dancing as a child and began on stage in vaudeville and also worked in nightclubs. Career. Mae Clarke started her professional career as a dancer in New York City, sharing a room with Barbara Stanwyck. She subsequently starred in many films for Universal Studios, including the original screen version of The Front Page, 1931, and the first sound version of Frankenstein, 1931, with Boris Karloff. Clarke played the role of Henry Frankenstein's fiancée, Elizabeth, who is attacked by the monster, Karloff, on her wedding day. The Public Enemy, released the same year, contained one of cinema's most famous and frequently parodied scenes, in which James Cagney pushes a half grapefruit into Clarke's face, then goes out to pick up Jean Harlow. The film was so popular that it ran 24 hours a day at a theater in Times Square upon its initial release. Clarke's ex-husband had the grapefruit scene timed and would frequently buy a ticket, enter the theater to again enjoy that sequence, then immediately leave the theater. Clarke appeared as Myra Deauville in the 1931 pre-code version of Waterloo Bridge. In the film she portrays a young American woman who is forced by circumstance into a life of prostitution in World War I London. Both the film and Clarke's performance were well received by the critics. Clarke also appeared in the modest pre-code Universal film Night World, 1932, with Louise, Boris Karloff, Hedda Hopper, and George Raft. By the mid-1930s, Clarke was no longer a leading lady and was featured in only small parts through to the 1960s. In the early 1930s, Clarke's face had been left partially scarred as a result of a car crash, recounts G. Mank in his Frankenstein film saga book It's Alive. He also writes that Mae would attend Frankenstein fan club events during her senior years. In 1949, Clarke was the female lead of Republic Pictures' 12-chapter movie serial King of the Rocket Men that introduced their popular atomic rocket-powered hero on television. Clarke acted in the series Perry Mason and Batman. Episode 48, Personal Life and Death. Clarke was married and divorced 3 times. To Fanny Bryce's brother Lou Bryce, Stevens Bancroft, and Herbert Langdon. All the unions were childless. Early in her career, Clarke and Joan Crawford were roommates, and the two were identified as on and off lovers by Jerry Asher, Crawford's close friend and press agent. Clarke died from cancer on April 29, 1992, at age 81, in Woodland Hills, California. She is buried in Valhalla Memorial Park Cemetery. Selected filmography. Features. Short subjects. Screen snapshots. 1932. Screen Snapshot Series 16. No. 7. 1937. Notes. Bibliography. Mae Clarke at the Internet Movie Database. Mae Clarke at AllMovie. Mae Clarke at the TCM Movie Database. Mae Clarke at Find a Grave. Mae Clarke at Virtual History.